Tell me about the first game you remember attending as a kid.
First game was in Calgary, and they were at the Saddle Dome. Played San Jose Sharks, and we had some family there, so we were visiting. It was around Christmas time. We went as the first NHL game, and I remember being down by the glass for warm-ups, and I actually had a San Jose coat for whatever reason, for no reason at all, but I had one, and I had it up against the glass, and I remember Bernie Nichols skated by and winked at me, and that was kind of my first NHL experience and moment, and I've always remember that. So it was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
First NHL idol growing up. Who's the guy you looked up to and why?
Probably Doug Gilmour, I would say, just because, obviously, as I was growing up through that time, we Leafs were on all the time. We had only 2 or 3 channels, and Saturday night was big Leafs night, and he was their captain and leader, and someone that you looked up to as a kid.
Draft day. Take me through draft day, what you remember about it, the feelings, and how you celebrated after you were chosen.
Well, it was a little different for me because it was lockout. So I was in Ottawa, and it was in a hotel. So we were kind of, it was 30 guys in a conference room, and it was just silence and anxiety, and it was an interesting day. And then obviously I remember just sitting there, my parents, my agent, and New York Rangers traded up with Atlanta, and I thought, I was kind of nervous, to be honest, that Atlanta was going to pick me. I didn't really want, not like you pick and choose, but I was, and then New York traded up, they picked me, and I was couldn't have been more excited, and it was a dream come true. And then that night we went out with dinner with Glenn and the scouts and everyone that night, and that was pretty much it. I just had some dinner and relaxed, and then went back home the next day.
First Ranger coach was Tom Rennie. Being a rookie, what was it like playing for Tom?
No, he was a really good coach for me. He was very passionate about the game. He obviously gave me my first chance and had a lot of confidence in me, and so I really enjoyed playing for him, and like I said, he gave me my start, and he put a lot of confidence in me, and that's huge as a young player, and something that looking back on, you don't appreciate as much as when you're in it, and I definitely appreciate that now.
First Ranger captain, kind of interesting because he started playing when you were 3 years old. What was it? What did Jaromir mean to you as a leader, and what did you learn from him?
The biggest thing I took away from him is his work ethic. The passion he had for the game. He came to the rink every day, excited to be here, and he put the work in. And but when you're a young player and you look at a guy like that, sometimes you think they're so talented that it's just they show up and get 3 points a night and it's easy, but you don't realize how much work that goes into it, and that's the thing I learned from him the most.
First game as a Ranger is opening night at the Garden. Do you remember opening night is different, especially it's your first game. Yeah. Skating out on the Garden ice during the introductions. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. It was it was probably one of the most nervous I've been for a hockey game, I think, ever. But yeah, I remember just the anthem going and just kind of trying to get my thoughts in order and focus on the game. And I think we won. I didn't play that good. I remember I remember Nathan Horton toe dragged me, like just turned me inside out, maybe my third or fourth shift, and I was like, oh man, I'm in one here. But definitely something you don't forget, and a very cool feeling.
Remember your first point by any chance?
I don't remember my first point. No.
Assist on a Chris Drury goal.
Was it?
Yeah, it was game. What was it? 12 games in.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Do you remember your first goal?
I remember my first goal. Yeah. Yeah, I think Shanahan passed it to me, or Gomez. It was one
Both.
of the two.
You got them both.
All right.
Yeah. You got them both.
Yeah. So I think it was it Shanahan who was the primary?
Right.
Yeah. So he came around the weak side of the net, hit me a really nice pass, and Aves was in front. I just shot as hard as I could and went in. I honestly thought that he was touched it at first, but he came over to me like I scored, so I was obviously an incredible moment. I mean, I'm not a goal scorer by any means, but it's always good to get the first one, out of the way. Oh yeah. I got it. The Rangers do a nice job. They put it into like a little frame and a picture of the goal and thing. So it's pretty cool. And you get the starting lineup sheet to have that, which is very cool.
That is very cool.
Of my first game. So
now, obviously, you have brothers in the league. Do you remember the first time you played against each of them and what that was like?
I don't remember like the game specifically, but I played against Jordan and Junior, so I was kind of used to playing against him. Seeing Eric was different, but yeah, it's still. I mean, it's gotten a little bit more normal, obviously, the more you do it. But I mean, sometimes you find yourself watching them more than you do, your own team or what's going on when they're on the ice. So it's just it's a different connection that you have, obviously, with them. But we've always really enjoyed it, and we're very lucky to have been playing for as long as we have, and have been able to do that.
Last question. Your first Stanley Cup final. The whole experience, what it was like.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it's kind of a blur. I mean, when you're going through a run like that, it's just it's like Groundhog Day. You're numb to pain and feeling. You're just getting up and focusing on trying to get on the ice and do your job. And when we got to the finals and you're the last of two teams, it's a pretty good sense of accomplishment, obviously, and then obviously a devastating ending, but when you look back, I still have really good memories of a lot of those guys on that team. We're a very close team, and it's something that we'll have for the rest of our lives. And you don't win. You remember the memories along the way, to get to that point, and there was a lot of good ones.